Hey everyone, it's Adam Fullmore, intuitive energy healer here. I actually am joined with Stella Hurtes. She is an animal communicator. And what we're doing today, I actually asked Stella to do a animal communication for one of my dogs. She have three dogs, but the one I've asked you to do it for his name is Huey. He's 1 year old, and yeah, so he's quite the handful for sure. He's quite restless, overactive. We actually recently just got into a fight, so that was another reason why I reached out to you, Stella, just to see how he's doing post that. If there's any sort of trauma, anything he wants to sort of share, express around that. And I don't even know if when I originally contacted you, he actually got neutered too on Monday as well. I don't know if anything came up around that or if that even really matters, if about that. Else, I'm just curious to know what you found out. I guess yes, because especially when we walk him on a leash, Keri and I, he's quite like pulls really hard. So if there's like anything that came up around that, if you have any suggestions on how we can maybe walk him better on the leash, that would be great, because he's like almost like you start walking and he starts like yelling and pulling really hard, and it can be pretty intense at times because he is a 70-pound dog, so he's got a lot of power behind him. So I'd love to hear what you came up with.
Hello, Adam. Yes, of course. Lovely. Yeah, you're right. You contacted me because you were concerned about walking Huey with the leash. When I contacted him, I just introduced myself. That's always the way I start when I communicate with an animal. Introduce myself and tell him why I'm contacting him, saying that this person was curious about a few things and if he could explain. He was very willing to speak. It was like, yeah, I can explain, no problem. So like with anybody, I don't start with like the core questions, why do you do that? So I just went to say, well, can you talk to me a little bit about your personality first, to know him. So he told me it was very, very happy to say. He says he's very alert, very curious, very attentive. He says he's full of energy. And I perceive him like with a very sweet, boyish energy, like a young boy, but willing to please. Is not like his thinking is very attentive. He tries to understand. So that's how he went through to me. So he says he loves playing. I say, what do you like? He said he loves playing. He showed me like a kind of piece of material or something that he shakes and he has fun with it. He's got a very boyish energy, but then after he said, I'm mommy's boy. I'm a mommy's boy, he said. And he says he enjoys going on the bed and going under the blankets. That's what, according to snuggle in the bed, that's what, when he shows me the blankets, it doesn't mean always that he goes under the blanket. It just shows like it's cozy and he likes snuggling. Yeah.
Especially with Keri, like you're saying, he is a real mama's boy. If Keri's sitting on the couch or on the bed, he's just like jumps up there immediately and wants to be right in there, like kind of push the other dogs out of the way, and he's a real suck.
He looks very sweet, and he's just like, it's my mommy, it's like admirative of Keri.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak to him about show me when you go out with your person, how does it work? So he shows me that he waits for you to come out with him and walk him. He says that sometimes he's bored. So then after I said, which way are you going? Which way you enjoy the most? And it shows me that you turn on the right when you go out of your house, and then you got like a kind of a way to go, and then you've got a park kind of with trees and everything. He enjoys a lot going there. He said as well that he was very proud to say he jumps high. For him, it's a quality. So I don't know if it speaks to you that he says he jumps high. I don't know.
Yeah, he can jump high. Like we have a truck and he can just jump right into it, like no problem. Um, yeah, he's a good jumper. Like we have also a pretty high up bed as well, like carrying my bed. So he'll no, yeah, he has no problem jumping for sure.
Yeah, sometimes he shows me sitting and waiting for something to do. Um, he, he's a young boy, so he needs to be active physically and mentally. Is like, okay, what are we going to do next? Is kind of that behavior, like waiting for his human to do things. That's what he shows me. It says for him the best walk is when he can jump around, run. He says that he gets so excited because I say, show me how you walk. And he says, well, I'm so excited that it's difficult to contain. He says he feels frustrated sometimes because he's full of energy. He says he wants to play as boys do, like you would have a teenager, playing rough, like rugby, and, it's just like pushing each other. That's where he is, actually. It's his age and it's the energy he shows me he'd like to. And when I say, your person told me that you were aggressive with your dad once, it was like well, I didn't know how to act and I want to play rough, but daddy's, because it's the daddy's dog, he said he's very serious. He's just like doing his things, and as well as is practicing his male, when they are young like that, they're practicing their male attitude. They challenge the alpha dog. So that's what he does because he has too much energy. In any case, he has a very sweet energy, and he's not a fighter. He's not an aggressive dog. So it is just much more full of energy, and he needs to put it somewhere.
He is, yeah, he's very restless for sure. In that way, it's like we'll let him out in the morning and then he just wants, or like just throughout the day, he wants, like, even if we've walked him and stuff, he just wants in and out a lot, because it's like he's one of those dogs, I think, that could just be like a farm dog, but be outside playing all day. But unfortunately, that's not our life. So it can be sometimes challenging because it's just like, oh, he needs out again and out again. Like, and even though he has, like, we have two other dogs, and yeah, so the one you're talking about, his father, who's quite close to his age too, they play really well together, like when they do, and they burn off a lot of energy, and they, like you're saying, they play rough and stuff, and he'll even play rough with his mom, who we also have too, who's older, and but she doesn't have the same like spurts of energy like the younger two have, but so he does get to play rough, but with them. But I think he does need more socialization. But with the pack we have, it's kind of challenging because it's like there's like a pack mentality. So if we take them to a park and there's another dog, they want to like sort of dominate that other dog. So it's like it's been a little bit challenging that way to socializing with other dogs so much to say. But he is, like you said, he is generally friendly. When he does meet other dogs, like doesn't show aggression unless they show aggression back, then he'll respond.
He shows a very sweet energy. I mean, okay, what else did I get?
But yeah, you're bang on about him. He's just so full of energy and so excitable, and it's like, but it's like, so yeah. So sometimes it's intense walking a dog that's just so excited because he's like almost like yelling with excitement, barking with excitement.
And that's what he shows me, jumping. And he says the best walk for him is like running, jumping, and he shows me jumping. He needs to do something with his energy, and I can understand that sometimes the human being, it's challenging. And
Yeah, we
So
do let him off leash quite a bit, but right now he just got neutered, so we can't until like for like they like to at least have you like a week to 10 days before that. But yeah, but it's like I can't wait till you can let him off leash again to burn off that energy because yeah, I'll take them on hikes and stuff. And yeah,
yeah.
so I hope it
Um,
burns off.
he says, he made me laugh because he says, I know my person doesn't want me to pull on the leash, but he says he's too slow behind. And I am too excited to arrive where I'm going to be off leash and I can be free and run. And he says in his body, that's what you have to understand. He showed me that in his body, it was like he felt held back,
Mhm.
and prevented to run. And it's like, even if your mind knows, you're like, your body says like, I want to go, I want to go. And so, but when he says, yeah, and I see you, Adam, because when I visualize, I have visions, and I can see you getting out of the house by saying, "Oh, I'm going to have a nice walk," and then you are not in the same space because you want to have a peaceful walk. You're just getting out, and you want to enjoy nature. I can see you in your mind, in your energy. You are completely off because he's like running wild. He's just, at last we're getting out, and you have the same, but with like, I can relax now, and it's the opposite energy. So that's what I wanted to try, for you to try to understand if you compare with him. And yeah. And
Yeah, it's particularly like that when on a leash. Yeah, like if I have them off leash, it's fine. But it's like, yeah, like when you're back and forth getting tugged, it's doesn't make for a very like nice walk because it's like it
exactly.
feels like
But
a battle because he's so excited. Like
yeah, yeah, and I can understand, but it's his age as well. So when I ask him if he has enough space around his house, he speaks to me about it's not about space. He says he likes exploring and sniffing around and running in places and discovering. That's what he says as well. And he told me he likes water a lot. So I don't know if you take him swimming or if you've got a place where he can go to the water.
Yeah, not we're not really taking him to the water right now. Well, A, because he just got neutered, but it's also just quite cold out too, though it doesn't bother dogs in the winter if they go in like there is rivers and lakes around stuff. Oh yeah, he loves the water for sure. Like he'll just jump right in. Not so much of a swimmer, like he'll go up to like sort of like his neck. He hasn't really tried swimming yet. He is only like one, but he loves just diving in and
Paddling in the
playing in
water.
the water. Yeah, for sure.
That's
Like
what he
no fear
shows me.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he showed me. So when I asked him, considering his body currently, how much exercise does he think he need per day to feel better in his energy? And he tells me it's 1 hour and a half, 2 hours per day, which
Okay.
is a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we can speak a little bit later about what to do. Then I asked him, because that was one of your questions, how did he feel about being attacked? You both of you were attacked by a dog the other day.
Yeah.
So he said he got scared, but he said he fought back. It was like, but I did my job. I tried to protect myself, he said. And he said he's well behaved, but the other dog was very rude.
Yeah.
He had no manners. For him, the other dog had no manners, and it was like, I'm not like that.
Yeah, because their dog was off leash and it charged at like it was in its backyard and there was no fence. It wasn't fenced in or tied up, and it's a massive dog too, and it charged us, ran out. So I don't know if it was trying to play, but it didn't seem like it. It's also a younger dog too, like just over one, and but big dog, and it ran it out, and they did end up biting each other on the neck and piercing each other's necks and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty intense because like I got bit in the leg too, and
Oh yeah, you got beaten as well. Oh shame.
yeah, No bruising, but I think it hit a nerve because I had that nerve pain all day shooting down my leg, but that's gone now. Luckily, it only lasted a day and got a bad
And-
headache from because I got pulled over because I had Huey on the leash, and it was sort of like I was trying to like move Huey out of the way out of this other dog because this dog is sort of like yeah, it was a King Corso, so it's like they're almost
Oh,
like
wow.
giant pit bulls, like so they
Yeah.
have quite a strong jaw. So I was worried Huey was going to get hurt or like even worse, right? Um, but luckily, the owner came out and was finally able to contain their dog, but it took a lot of work to do so. So it was, yeah, it was pretty traumatic for us all. But
Yeah, shame. Yeah, he told me he got scared, but he said he fought back and he was very proud. Like, yeah, I did it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that's what I got from Uyi. And what I want to add is 1 year old. I mean, you mustn't worry because 1 year old is the age where they got that teenager time where they feel rebellious and at the time they don't know what to do with their body. But overall, the energy of Uyi is very sweet and even it's got that boyish attitude now. So in order to help, I feel like I don't know if you have daycare but to socialize him much more with other dogs other than your family dogs,
yeah.
and maybe taking him out by himself and educate him by with the leash. But if he is having enough energy to go out, then he will be willing to listen and to learn. Do you take him to dog training sometimes?
Keri did take him to a dog training, and he was so excited there that because he wants to engage with other dogs so much, she had to actually. But when he's excited, he's one of those dogs that barks, 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 because he's a bit stubborn too. Like when he wants something, he like is persistent, or like, or if he's on the couch and you want him off, and you're like, "Come on, get off," he'll just like anchor himself down and not move. So at the dog training, he would just bark and bark and bark. So Keri had to actually be around the corner so he couldn't see the other dogs. But because he could smell them and hear the other dogs, he continued to bark. But the trainer was just like, keep filling him with treats. So this was a very treat orientated. So he would eat so many treats at the training that he would get sick. So he would have loose stools, diarrhea for a week, and then there
Oh,
would be another class. So we ended up canceling the last couple of classes because it was just he was getting sick from eating too many treats from Keri, trying to like to get him to calm down and relax and focus on something. So that didn't work too well. That training, I don't know. There could be other forms of training, but yeah, that
well,
form of
you
this
know,
treat form didn't.
in the training I have heard of, that's what I went. I mean, I recently rescued a dog who's a 1 year old, so I really know what you're talking about. And I bring her to a training where they go and play with all the dogs before working. So they
Yeah.
play, they got 6, 7 dogs and they socialize and they have to learn as well.
Mm,
And it's true that in the energy of Uyi as well, I saw that he's very assertive in what he wants.
yeah.
But we have to remember, and there's a lot of positive reinforcement in maybe that we can learn through even on internet they show quite a lot of positive reinforcement, but as 1 year old you have to show your dog that you are the leader of the pack and it's the time to do it.
Yeah.
And walking on the leash, don't give up. You have to find another if you can find another place where it can learn, because sometimes, especially if you've got 3 dogs, it's important that they see you as the leader of the pack. And walking on the leash is one part of as well. And I told him as well, but telling him actually is not enough, because he needs so much energy. He needs to get rid of so much energy. Then after he can concentrate. And he's only 1 year old, so he's going to settle down. You go to the teenager time there. So
Yeah,
that's
I know. Actually, it's like I actually don't like the puppy teenager stage because it's like they're usually quite intense. It's like I like dogs when they're like 2 and older because usually by then it's like
it's
they're
settled.
they're they're more understanding, they've settled, they're better trained and stuff. And but yeah, it's definitely been a challenge having like a third dog. Like we've had 2 dogs for a while, and actually, I prefer only having 1 dog because then you can really focus on it. But it's like it's just the way things unfolded, and now we have this big pack, so to speak. So it's definitely been a learning curve and challenge because normally we would socialize like our dogs with other dogs too, but because of the pack, like 3 is just
3
a
is a
lot.
lot.
It is
But
a lot.
the good news, Adam, is like the older ones are going to teach the younger ones as well, in the house at least. So you won't have to bother so much with the education in the house because they can see what the older dogs do, and they do the same. But outdoor, it's true that it will have to learn. But I think it's, I don't know, you have daycare in Canada a little bit, where you can take your,
There is, I don't think there's anything like where we live, so I think we would have to drive at least like half an hour to drop them off. But it might be something worthwhile doing like every now and again to like just for him to get more socialization just for that period, like other dog socialization.
yeah. What I can see in his energy though is like he's a very sweet dog. So as soon as the teenage, now he's been nurtured and the teenager is going to be over, he's going to settle very nicely. I wouldn't be worried. He didn't tell me anything. He feels very happy, very settled, and much more like exploring, taking him for long walks, but like any new dog, young dogs.
Yeah, so more exercise, I could see that for sure. And wanting, yeah, because probably getting, well, it gets anywhere probably from an hour to an hour and a half, maybe even more. I mean, you might get even close to 2 hours some days, but it's reduced right now just with the neutering, like I said. So I think it can vary from sometimes days, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely needs more exercise. He's always seems like he's game for.
And what I would advise Adam as well is, you've got 3, so maybe you can separate him sometimes and give him some toys, like positive reinforcement toys where they have to figure out things. There's some toys called Kong where you fix things in it, and they need to get the especially if he's treat orientated, is going to enjoy getting the treats out of the toys. And so it keeps them busy as well with the mind, because at that age, it's the body, but the mind as well. They're very active. They want to learn. And yeah.
Yeah, we do give him like, yeah, Kongs with peanut butter. Sometimes there are different things to, yeah, chew on. Yeah, he's very, that does sort of settle him down or help him to focus when we do, just when he's inside, obviously, to give him something, or even like sometimes a bone like outside to chew on or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's very true that it's the age, huh? Yeah, and I think it's good to remember that when we will do that. I mean, I struggle as well because I was like, "Ooh, that's because human timetable is like 1 hour, 2 hours. Where am I going to get that time?" And then after, it's not only taking them out, but it's as well educating them. And at that age, I mean, myself, I have friends that are animal communicators, and I don't feel like educating so much because you've got older dogs, everybody's, and then you've got a new beings, and you have to a new being, and you have to adapt as well to that new being. And cats tend to listen very nicely very often, but my dog said to my friend, yeah, she's talking, she's communicating with me, she's talking to me, but I'm listening off of what she says. And I was like, what? Because it's the age. They struggle to concentrate, and they got so much on their mind that so we have to see that as well. It's a difficult period for them as well to settle with everything.
Yeah, makes sense for sure.
There we are, Adam.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it definitely helped to sort of, yeah, I guess reiterate, yeah, the importance of exercise or more exercise for him. So it's about, yeah, it's like, okay, it's like, need to make sure that he's getting.
And educating as well, because it's exercise with the body, but exercise with the mind, of listening and being attentive. And so that uses a lot of their energy.
Yeah, that's true.
Small exercises where you do repetitively, and they can have fun from it as well, because they love learning. It's the age where they love learning, like any new
Okay.
youngsters.
Mhm. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. No, this has been really helpful.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Adam. I hope Huey is going to, well, I talked to him as well, so I hope he's going to get better. But he was explaining to me what was important. He's explaining to me how he feels in his body. And so we can understand why he's behaving that way. We have to bear in mind that it's important to understand them, to know how to react, and not feeling ourselves frustrated. I remind myself so much as well, like if you go out, you're frustrated because you haven't got much time, and then he's pulling, and then you get frustrated, and being in that peaceful state of mind of saying, hello, yeah, we're going to go there, no worries, just calm down, and calm down our own energy. And that helps them as well, because if we get frustrated, then they get even more frustrated themselves. They're like, well, I'm not happy because it doesn't go fast enough, and then my person is not happy either.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, that's great. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing all this.
Well, you're welcome, Adam.
Okay. So yeah. So if anyone else is that's watching would like to get an animal communication from Stella, yeah, you can get on intuitivehealthsolutions.com, the animal communications in the service area, or there's also, I guess, a bio too. They can read more about you there. Um, yeah, if you're, and you also do animal healings too, like in Huey's case, would you see a need for any sort of like healing that he would need on your end, or?
No, I wouldn't recommend any healing, because what he goes through is normal. There's no, it's 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 a normal attitude, I would say, for a young guy. He is very, very sweet, and is just going through that teenager time. And for me, he has no problem. He doesn't need any healing. He doesn't have any trauma. He's just very happy. He's a happy going boy. So it's nice to see as well.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. He's definitely happy and excited for sure, and it's like, and
But
sometimes,
it's normal. Yeah, I know it's not easy to deal with, but it's normal. So healing is not recommended here. I recommend healing on dogs that, like, for example, I rescued one who has trauma already. We have to work on the trauma, and to make them understand the way of living after the trauma. But Uyi is definitely a happy-going little boy, and he's fine. I wouldn't recommend anything on him.
okay. Well, yeah. Thanks again for sharing this.
You're welcome, Adam.
All right. So I guess, yeah, we'll just finish off here, and yeah, I hope people watching got something out of this. I know I did.
I'm well. I'm open to any questions anyway.
Yeah, for sure. If people have questions, yeah, you can put it in the comments section. And, yeah, we'll get back to you with any answers. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.